You're joking, right?
Well, I'm trying to be hopeful. I'm trying to be optimistic about that.
Well, I guess you're too young to be a little pessimistic like me. The fucking things I see out there, people are stupid.
Wow, I hope people are watching this and not listening to it, because if they're listening, they just missed some dope ass
Great
moves
move from the 80s. Very nice. That would be called the, what was that?
The snake? Isn't that what? No, the worm is this.
No, the worm is when you're on your belly. I think
Right.
this was like one of those 1980s break
The
moves.
wave. No, the wave is woo.
Right.
That's something I miss about COVID, actually. I just realized. Doing a wave. Like when you're in a large group of people, there's something kind of
I miss
magical about that.
COVID, but
no, that's the only thing I miss.
That's a good, that's the only thing.
Yeah.
Okay, no, put that up there, Ronnie.
Yeah, but I feel like it blocks, because I have my computer in front of me. And
All right, you do it. You be you.
Here.
I'll leave this here. How about
Here,
that?
how about that?
That was a good move. I was famous for that move.
What is this called? We still don't know.
We'll look it up. There was a
For
good
those that
movie
are
called
listening, we did the one where you move your arms,
grab
in
hand.
like
You look like you're having a seizure
in like a
right now.
snake pattern, and then you pass it on to another person, and they continue the wave on.
Right.
It's a wave.
There was a movie. No, it's not. No, this is a wave. There was a movie called, I
is a
think,
wave.
Kicking It Old School or something like that. It was a good movie where the guy like went into a coma and whatever.
What?
It's a good movie. I think we got a little bit of a cold.
I'm sorry to hear that. COVID.
No, I had it. I think I'm getting run down from
A little NOLA weekend.
a long weekend of not a lot of sleep. I didn't party, whatever, but not a lot of sleep.
I think most people, when they come back from a New Orleans weekend, don't feel well.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to bed reasonably early tonight. But I want to be asleep by 11, which is unheard of for me because I had to get up early into the office.
Yeah.
I think you hear it in my voice.
Oh, that's horrible.
You hear it in my voice.
Muting you.
You don't have that fucking control.
I certainly do. I just did it. You did it. You didn't mute me. You soloed me. How about that? You did the opposite of what you tried to do.
I'm gonna mute you. Talk, Ronnie. See? Yeah, I'm in control now, bitch.
Oh, if you have to do that, do it away from the mic. That's absolutely disgusting.
Sorry, peeps. All right. So how we got home from New Orleans. We had a great weekend.
We got home from New Orleans, yes.
New Orleans, and we saw we visited a listener, which we talked about.
We did. Right. We posted it on our Instagram story. We went to her store.
Oh, I gotta look at it. It's on Instagram.
Well, it's not anymore. It's gone.
Oh,
it's only 24 hours.
That's why I can't find a shit.
Right. But you're an Instagram aficionado now.
Not even close. And then we also did a Patreon podcast from Bryce's beautiful, disgusting shithole of an apartment / house in New Orleans.
We did a Patreon from Bryce's apartment with the two of us. Obviously,
did I just say that?
No, but I'm going into more detail
Appreciate
on
it.
it.
Right, thank you. Because if it was reversed, you'd be like,
I'm emphasizing,
adding.
like when we were in New Orleans, we're driving by and we were driving in the nice garden district,
Like,
and
that's
and
a
Dad
nice
keeps going,
big house.
"That's a nice house," and I go, "Nice house," and he goes, "What a yard," and I go, "What a yard."
I'm like, that thing's huge.
It's huge.
Yeah, but I was naked when you said that. That's pretty creepy. But I'm pumped. Shh.
Oh
No,
shit.
Rookie. All right.
I gotta utilize the soundboard.
Why
more.
don't you just put little
Well, I can click that, and then it tells me what each one is.
nice?
Um,
But it was on the
Patreon.
Continue. Yes.
So we did an episode with Bryce and Burke, and some of Bryce's fraternity brothers made guest appearances on it.
It was interesting.
and gave their 2 cents on what we were talking about. It was actually a kind of an interesting
it
conversation.
was good. I think we brought the soundboard and the mics. We were limited in some of the equipment, and the couch was disgusting. But that's
You didn't even want to sit on it.
No, I had to lean forward, and then it talked about some things about dating, college experience with boys and girls in college, and the
Sex life in college,
and
between
relationships
men and women
in college.
Yep.
And one of the kids goes, "I'm taking notes," and
Yeah.
it was just very funny. I think it's a good episode. It was nothing political, but yet it was a good episode.
We also talked. I asked you the very important question, which you still haven't given an answer of. Would you rather do the 99% of the blowjob or the last 1% of the blowjob?
Okay, so we did that as a good.
I think you'd want to. Maybe you're not giving the answer because your answer is you'd rather do the 100% of the blowjob.
Oh, you're such a tough guy in this.
Why don't you want to give an answer?
Aren't you? Because I think it's a stupid fucking thing. We've grown.
You asked me. You've asked me if I'd rather get fucked by my grandfather or have to fuck my grandmother. But this one is too much for you.
With all due respect, we have classy listeners. Stop with the language.
I would rather
out of
make
character.
love to my grandmother. That's way worse.
It's out of character for you.
Oh yeah. You're rubbing off on me.
No, it's out of character, and not only that, but we've grown, we've evolved. We're more mature, we're more well-rounded. We're held to a higher standard than the Would You Rather. Would You Rather is for rookies. That's where we start. That was the foundation. We've grown.
But don't you think our fans, if we're growing with our fans and they came for that, if we lose touch with who we are, then they're not going to like us
we'll
anymore.
never lose touch. That's why we're going to do a little Omegle tonight.
No, we're not.
But that's what I'm trying to give you what you want. Okay, Bronson is in complete control of this.
Wait.
It's like the Nazi regime. People want Omegle, and I used to call it Megal, but I've grown.
Last week you were saying your job is to come up with all the topics. I just show up, but now you're bringing topics to me. That wasn't what you agreed to.
No, I'm just telling you.
I would love for you to bring topics to me, which actually a few of the ones on the list are brought to me by you.
Thank you. Brought to you by me.
Actually, they were brought to me by...
So your time's wrong on your computer?
Well, it's on LA time because it's easier for work. Nice. I just keep my computer on LA.
Makes sense. Okay.
Yeah.
So I think Omegle people, I'm here. What's that here? Yeah. I agree. They want Omegle.
Wait, what's that you hear? It took a little long.
That was okay.
Like I said, I'm trying to utilize this more. I feel like
good.
there's comedic opportunities in that board.
Sure. But all right, but we do have to do Omegle. They like it. Oh, and then did we talk about a cancel culture name?
Yes, we have an official name.
Okay, because was this unilaterally decided?
Yes, we decided it together.
So it was not unilaterally, it was mutually decided?
It was mutually decided.
And you want to whisper it to me before you tell everybody?
Wait, we've decided on it together. I even showed you the jingle. We have a jingle made for it.
You said the jingle's being worked on and it was good. I like the jingle.
And we talked about the name.
What was the name?
Cancel Court.
Cancel Court. Dun-dun.
Because you're a lawyer, and it's like cancel court, and you're going to try to like defend
I like it.
The person who's being canceled each time as the lawyer.
Right, good. And I just want to thank everybody who did bring some great comments.
That name was brought to us by a listener. Cancel Court was recommended by a listener.
So we thank you for that. And we also thank you for all the other great choices. The problem is not everybody gets a ribbon. Not everybody's a winner. So we had to pick one. Sorry, guys. But
and the rest of you are losers.
No, not losers. Just second, third, fourth, and fifth, and so forth places, which is okay. It's not a problem. But as our listeners, you can understand that there only can be one winner.
Yes, and I would hope our listeners are okay with that.
They are.
Based on what
I know they are.
And that's what I mean.
And if they're not, fuck them.
Right. I agree.
Grow a pair. But I know you don't have to grow a pair because our listeners do have big balls.
Even the women.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
We don't discriminate.
No.
Maybe big vajayjays.
Having big balls it's in here. It's not down there, you know? You could have small ass balls down there, but you could have big balls.
Ron, you might
in
have
your heart.
Big balls right here.
Why?
I got
Oh God. Disgusting. All right, should we get into it?
Let's get into it, Bronny.
Because I have a lot. So last week was very apolitical, right? There were not political topics.
So you
can
say non-political,
apolitical,
or non-political.
Either works, yeah.
Okay.
So yes, I could say non-political, but I said apolitical.
I would say non-political. All right, go ahead.
Apolitical means no
Atypical?
politics, right? Atypical means not typical.
Okay.
Atheistic means no God.
What? All right, go ahead.
So because last week we didn't have a lot of political comments. It was non-political, if you will.
Or apolitical, if you will.
Sure, you could say that as well.
And I did.
There's like a plethora of them to get through this week.
Oh,
what do you want me to say?
There's a lot of topics.
You paid a lot of money for me to get a good private school education through elementary school, middle school, high school, and to go to a good college. And I use good words. I use a nice
big words.
I have a nice.
You get those from reading though.
And I have a good vocabulary, and you make fun of me for my good vocabulary.
I don't make fun of you.
That's an amazing thing to have. No, and I don't do it pompously.
It's not an amazing thing to have. Hey,
I just do it authentic. That's how I speak.
Authentically.
That's how I speak. I'm not putting them on. That's how I speak.
That is true, Bronson. Your words, large words, come from your being an avid reader, not from school. So it's a plus.
Basically, I'm asking, why do you tease me for being intellectual? Isn't that something you'd want me to be?
Yes, I don't want to tease you. Am I shaming you, which I don't want to be?
You are. I don't care.
Okay, I apologize.
Maybe I care a little because I'm
just trying to have a little banter, a little fuck around time, whatever kind of thing, a little bit teasing. But you're right. I did not.
Well, I'm calling you out. Basically, you like why tease someone for something that's good and something that you invested a lot in. You know, you invested a lot in my.
Let me try this. I hear you. I understand. I apologize.
Thank you. I accept your apology.
That's my growth. Okay.
Wow, guys, that was big, actually.
Yes.
Wow. Okay, let's get to some of the political.
Is there another word besides big that you can use? Besides big or huge? What's another synonym for that?
There are a lot.
Give me
but something I also learned in school is that you don't always need to have a fancy sounding word if it doesn't fit. Like you can use a very simple word if it works.
Like big.
Right, exactly.
Not like ginormous. That was very ginormous of you. That wouldn't fit.
Ginormous is not a word.
I know it's not. Gigantic and enormous. I get it.
Okay, good. Because a lot of people think ginormous is a real word.
I know it's not.
Okay, good. Phew.
Please.
Learn something new every day, guys.
All right, go ahead.
Let us know if you
we all know guesstimate's a real word. I'm joking.
No, I know, but people definitely think ginormous is a word where guesstimate they know isn't. Okay, let's get to it. On here, I just wrote stamps the other day. That's the only thing I wrote because we've been shipping out a lot of our merch, which has been great. A lot of people have already gotten their shirts, which has been awesome. They've been tagging us and stuff.
Really nice. We gotta love he uses merch. I say merchandise because I am very well educated. But I have to tell you, it is a really cool how people are loving receiving their merchandise from the United States Postal Office, and I think it's great.
Yes, why'd you put it on that voice?
I'm trying to sound intellectual.
It's been great, and I've loved sending them out, and we're getting like through most of the orders. But I was thinking about stamps the other day.
Pick up the 4 that was going to the Keys.
No, picking them up tomorrow.
Nice.
They're right there, actually.
Nice. Okay, make sure you get it to them.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
I was thinking like stamps are so arbitrary, right? Because when I've been shipping these out, I bring them to the post office, they weigh it, and then they they print out a postage for it.
Okay.
But I feel like when I was a kid, you used to just put stamps on something and you just hoped it was the right amount. Like how do you know what the right amount?
No, we never thought that.
No, I always thought that.
We never taught that.
Like, and I was like, oh, if it's a large envelope, you got to put 4 stamps on it, and
you guesstimated.
Right, but see, that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like most people, how much is a stamp worth?
Okay, but
how much is one stamp worth to ship?
We've also grown. When I grew up, walkie-talkies were 2 Dixie cups and a string. Now it's cell phones without wires.
So tell me, what are the parameters of stamps?
Okay.
Will one stamp get me from Florida to California? How big does the package have to weigh?
Okay.
Like there's all these.
Anywhere in the U.S., it's based on, first of all, I don't work for the United States Post Office, and I have fucking staff members that take my stuff and weigh it and mail it for me. So I'm going to go with my best estimate.
Guesstimate on this ginormous topic.
On my knowledge and experience, on my plethora of knowledge and experience.
Okay.
Anywhere in the U.S., it's by weight. So if you want to ship something to California, you want to ship something.
Right, but what is one stamp's weight worth?
I think it's like 54 cents, if I'm not mistaken.
54 cents per pound?
Is a stamp. No, I think it's good for like an envelope size.
Right, but then like what are the weight characteristics? That's basically what I'm saying.
You can look it up in the United States Post Office.
But no one knows this.
Everyone knows it. We don't need to know it because what happens is...
Will they send it back? Like, have you ever gotten a letter sent back because it didn't have the right amount of stamps?
No. So I have a scale in my office that runs with the computer.
Right. Nowadays, that's not as big of a problem. That's why I said like 10 years ago.
It's like this, I don't know my kids' cell phone numbers because it's all saved in here. So speed dial. So it's the same thing. I don't need to know.
Right. But I feel like it's also... Sorry. Go on.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say it's arbitrary. Like, it feels like it's arbitrary. Like, they say, we know how many stamps you need, but we're not going to tell you. You have to figure it out. It's almost like...
That's not what they're saying.
It's almost like with taxes in the IRS.
No, not even fucking close.
Which is another crazy thing that makes no sense.
Okay, not even close. Well, that's a whole... By the way, I don't have time to spend 4 fucking hours. I would go crazy on taxes.
Well, I think it
should be a flat tax proportion. So if you want to pay, let's say, for example, Wyatt should pay 40% tax, someone else pays 15%. I think it should be... And we didn't get in the Postal Service, but... I think that if you make $1 million, you pay the same 35% as a person who makes $10,000. You're paying, it's true equitable.
30. So you make a percentage of your income.
It's the same percentage to everybody. Your gross earnings, same percentage for everybody, right? Or I mean, it's your net, not your gross. Same percentage across the board for everybody. But for example, if you only made $30,000, and you was, let's say, 30%.
Isn't that what it is though?
No.
Like in California, I get taxed 10%.
No, you get taxed
on my income.
You get taxed more than 10%. But what I'm saying is, the more money you make, the more taxes you give percentage-wise. See, I'm saying to make it equitable, the more money you make, if it's the same percentage, you're still paying more in taxes. But why am I being penalized if I want to work 12, 14 hours a day, work harder, make more money? Why should I give the government more money percentage-wise? It doesn't make sense. It sort of defeats the person working hard. It's saying if you work less and make less, if you work hard and make less, it goes back to that whole fucking mentality of the entitlement and the handout. If you work less and make less, you'll have to pay less percentage. Now, obviously, if it's the same percentage as I said, let's say hypothetically it's 30% across the board, a third for discussion purposes. You make 10 million, you give 33.3 million. You make 100,000, you give 33,000. It's truly equitable. And then, but the person makes more money.
I think it should be that.
Of course,
but you don't necessarily think that a lot of parts of society should be equitable. That's one that you do think, which is interesting because it'll help you, I think, a little bit more.
No, it doesn't help me. What I'm saying
I think it would lower your tax bracket if it was all equal, if it was 35% across the board.
If they charge me 40%, I'm paying that, they should charge someone who makes 100 grand 40% too. I'm just saying, why should
it'll help you better. It'll help you more than the 100,000
It won't help me
person.
because you didn't hear me say reduce my tax rate.
But it probably would.
No, I'm saying
if it became a one flat thing,
then keep the wealthy, start at the higher tax rate. Keep it that way. I don't want to pay more tax if I don't have to. But if I'm already paying, let's again just say it's 40%, then why shouldn't a person make 100 grand pay 40%?
I agree with you. I agree, and I think it should be equal for everything.
Why I get it, where they're probably saying because a person who let's say makes 50 grand can't afford, if they paid 40% of tax, can't afford to live.
Right, that's a huge chunk,
and I respect that. But why should a person, let's say, might make just $1 million, wants to live a higher lifestyle because they work hard and they have the right to buy better things, and now have to give 400 grand to the government because he might say, I want to live a $700,000 lifestyle. Now he's in the deficit.
Yeah. No, I think taxation is theft. I'm against taxes completely.
That's sort of like the government. I know we talked about that, but
it's literally taking money out of your pocket for no reason.
Well,
it's
there
a mafia.
There are plenty of reasons. It is quasi.
They've convinced us that there are plenty of reasons.
It is quasi mafia. But can we go back to the post for a second?
Yeah, I have a lot of other stuff to get to too. So
the post is very simple. Right now, you can go online and see what it is. It's based upon weight, okay, and based on outside the U.S. It's based on like Canada and foreign countries. It could be more. Sometimes it's better just to Federal Express things because it could be cheaper than actually sending things.
I just thought it was funny where it's like there's no standard.
There is,
but no one knows it.
Well, people know. You can ask. You
like
can
how I was saying with the IRS, it's baffling to me that one of the most important things that our government does is collect taxes, and how they do it is they say this is how it happens. They say we know the number that you owe us, but we're not going to tell you. You have to figure it out. You have to pay us that number. If you pay it incorrectly, you're going to jail.
Not
because
we
know it.
No, and you're not going to jail. There'll be a penalty. But
like, why? How wouldn't it be so much easier if the IRS sent you a letter in the mail? They say you owe $3,217.15,
and then you fight it. No, I don't. There's too many people. Not enough IRS
but
people.
But it's so gray. It's so.
There's a lot of ambiguity in tax laws that work to people's advantages. But last thing, let's go into some of the topics.
Yeah.
The issue of the post office. You know what? No one gives a shit. Why would you fucking care about what the postage is or what the background is? You go in, it's like gas. You fill up your tank.
You're saying, why do I care? Because that's how I think.
Why does anyone care? I mean, so you want to look it up? Look it up. But no one says like, honey, do me a favor. I want an end cut of the meatloaf. And can you tell me what's the postal service?
That's how I think.
That's okay. So look it up. That's okay.
Well, because I was just,
no judgment here.
But no one uses stamps really anymore. It's all digital stuff. You just bring it.
It's all right. No one's licking. In POG when I was young, your age and younger. We used to have stamps. People collected stamps. Some people still might collect.
People still do collect stamps.
There's a value to that, but I'm not into that.
Okay, there's a lot to get to.
We'll get to one topic. It's already 19 minutes in.
Yeah, ridiculous. The biggest thing these past 2 weeks, which I think we could talk about for a while, have to deal with guns and shootings. What?
Just make sure I don't look fat in this shirt. Sometimes this material.
I go... We got to talk about mass shootings.
No, I know. But
do I look fat in this shirt?
These shirts, where they don't lay right, the fabric, it can make you look like you have man boobs.
Yes, I do know those shirts well.
Looking all right? All right.
Yes. Good. How about me?
Hey there.
How do we look, guys? How do we look?
You look good. Good. But black.
Drop a comment. on how we look?
They won't know.
On YouTube.
After the fact.
On
All
YouTube.
All right. Tell me about what's the shootings, because I have not been following the news. What's going on?
So you haven't heard of any of the shootings that have been
I've
going on?
heard. I don't know the specifics of them.
Okay, so 2 weeks ago, we'll start at the first big one. 2 weeks ago in Atlanta, a white guy went into 2 different massage parlors, in quotes, because they were like happy ending places.
Okay.
Shot them up, killed 8 people.
Terrible. Terrible. Loser, fucking low.
So that happened 2 weeks ago. There was a huge.
Tell me about that guy, dude. What do we know about him?
So they don't know much, even really.
Did they catch him?
They did.
Is he alive?
He is. He's in custody, I believe. Let me double check.
I'd like to know his background, if you don't mind.
Wow.
Whoa.
Wait. I typed into Google Atlanta shoot, and the first thing that came up, shooting racially motivated.
Of course.
That was the first thing that came up. Oh my God.
Yep.
Wow.
Fuck.
Oh, it was at 3 massage parlors. 8 people were killed, 6 of whom were Asian women, and 1 other person was wounded. So see, there you go. There's another interesting thing. They say that the 6 killed were Asian women, 6 of the 8. They don't tell you who the other 2 were. Well, wait,
which means they're probably 2 white people.
Right. So that's the undercurrent of this story.
That's news, which is very, very subjective and very slanted. Go ahead.
So
stop playing with your cord.
A suspect, you too. 21-year-old Robert Aaron Lang was taken into custody later that day. According to police, or Robert Aaron Long, sorry. According to police, Long said he was motivated by a sex addiction that was at odds with his religious beliefs. He had spent time in an evangelical treatment clinic for sex addiction. So that happened 2 weeks ago. It happened March 16th.
So the guy obviously is fucked up. He's a deranged human being that really serves no purpose. He breathes in our oxygen, which he should not. Mm-hmm. And he's obviously mentally disturbed. And based on what you're reading, it has nothing to do with racial, correct?
Correct. And the Atlanta police have said at this time, we don't know that there's a racial motive to it.
It's just a sick fuck.
Okay, so.
Right?
Yes.
Okay.
Coming out of that, all over social media and mainstream media, and like you watch Good Morning America, right? You watch CNN, all that stuff, which you don't watch. So you probably haven't, and you're not on social media a lot. So you probably haven't seen this. But there's been a huge backlash wave of anti-Asian, or pro-Asian support, right? Everyone and their mother has been coming out saying, we support the Asian community. We're against anti-Asian hate. Asians in America are being targeted and attacked.
Because that's something else I need to add. It has nothing to do with Asians. Let's be very clear. It has nothing to do. Unlike Dr. Seuss, that is all about to do with Asians.
Yes, that was target, specifically.
And that was actually the Dr. Seuss, that one book that they got rid of, Ronnie.
Yeah.
That has been in the work for 50 years. I mean,
way more.
That's a whole conspiracy.
What about it?
They knew what they were doing. Dr. Seuss, when they were writing that was really against it. From day one, it was against the Asians. I'm making a joke. Obviously not a great joke. Go ahead.
It went over my head or under my head. I don't know.
Okay, so go ahead.
So it was.
By the way, it has nothing to do with race.
Right.
And
the facts of the case, it has nothing to do with race. However, there was, you have no idea how large of a backlash it was. Everywhere you turned, it was, we support our Asian American brothers. We are against anti-Asian hate.
So what now? We're going to have a fucking Asian month?
And there were plenty of signs that were saying Asian lives matter, just like Black Lives Matter.
Bullshit. Mm-hmm. ALM?
Yeah.
All right, good. ALM, I got that right away.
Yeah. Well, all lives matter.
We know Asian lives. We know all lives matter. What the fuck? Why is everything? What if a white person gets killed?
Wait. So we're going to get to that. So that happened at the Atlanta shooting, which is a tragedy.
Terrible across the board. So sorry. That guy's a sick fuck and he should never get out of jail. Never get out of jail.
Yeah.
And I think everyone will agree with that.
Yeah.
But we also know it has nothing to do with based on the own stuff
based on his confession and the police.
By the way, you know what it's based upon? It's religion. We should say ban all fucking religion.
Yeah.
The evangelical church. That should be fucking banned and outlawed. We should make that, right? That's what they should do.
Yeah. I mean, it gets clearer and clearer every day that there's agendas.
It's all agendas,
everywhere.
Bronson.
And it's so obvious because literally in that article, it said 6 of the 8 were Asian women. 1 person was injured.
Can you find the other 2?
Who were the other 2, So I was seeing all this anti-Asian, like.
So are they going to, wait a minute, are they going to close Chinese restaurants? Like have like we won't be able to have Chinese food on Sunday nights? That would be a horror.
No, that would be anti-Asian. It would be pro-Asian to keep them open.
No, they might say we need to
We don't feel
close
safe.
it. We don't feel safe. It's not safe space. We're not feeding the white man. Could you imagine that? Like if I
But
can't
I
get
also-
wonton soup?
I-
No, can we have a moment of silence for that? That would be fun. Could you if they closed no wonton, let's get
They're not
Chinese
closing
tonight.
it. That it's
Yeah, it's too late.
9:30 or it's
Fuck.
8:30.
Chinese food.
Shit, what was I going to say?
The 2 people, they didn't say who they were, and then we talk about, you said something about Boulder, Colorado.
I didn't say something about Boulder, Colorado.
I
when
read
you
it.
saw it.
Nice.
Stop jumping ahead.
Mwah, mwah, mwah.
Oh, here's what I was going to say. So while this article's loading, these are the victims.
Is that a white person?
That's a white woman.
Sad. It's terrible.
Asian woman, 49 years old. Asian woman, 44.
White woman before you said, right?
White man, 54.
Those are the 2 white.
Hispanic man, 30. Asian woman, 51. Asian woman, 74. Asian woman, 69.
Okay, so-
Asian woman, 63.
So 1 Spanish, 2 Caucasian.
Yeah.
Not mentioned at all. So here's what's sad. Why aren't they recognized? How sad is that?
I mean,
for
they
the
are
family?
in this article, but
No, but
in
you know
the
what I'm saying?
media, they have not been.
But shouldn't they have their moment to mourn and be recognized and have that sense of empathy from people? The society knows about it.
Well, there was no mourning of this. It was immediately the hour after it happened. It was immediately
racial
politicized
shit.
and said, "There's an attack on Asian people. Asians are being."
Speak up, people. Yep.
But also, this might be ignorant of me, but I've never witnessed or heard. I have plenty of Asian friends. I've never witnessed hate towards them, like racism towards. I've seen racism towards black people.
Yes,
I've seen it with my own eyes. I've heard it from out of people's mouths.
Correct.
I've never experienced that towards Asian people.
No.
I feel like Asian people are well respected and liked in general in this
why?
country.
You know why?
Do you agree with me on that? I feel like
110%.
Yeah.
And you know why?
Why?
They come up from another country.
Well, not all of them.
No, okay, I'm making a general statement.
There were Asian people here before we
You're
were.
right. Okay. Take it back. They believe in education. That's very important among the Asian culture. They believe in family values. They believe in old-fashioned traditions. They believe in hard work. Okay,
And into assimilating into a culture.
Correct.
They do, like in America, Asian Americans are like very American.
think about it. They come here. They work the American jobs that the stupid-ass, lazy, fat-ass Americans don't want to work. They work hard. They take care of their family. They believe in community. They believe in education. They're not looking for handouts. You got to respect that. No, that's huge. Okay, they're
in
they
the
love the
job
American dream.
in the job market and in the like in college. They're so overrepresented that they're being even discriminated against by colleges because there are so many Asian students in college that the colleges are like, we have to limit this.
pull back a little bit. Yeah,
Because they're so
but I respect them.
high level in education and intellect.
All the things. Total respect, hard work, family values, culture, tradition, and education. You got to respect.
But then
that.
it makes me think, like, why is there this agenda now? To like, why? I guess they're just trying to get Asian people on the side of the Democrats.
Let me explain why is the agenda. It was, if that was a black male that did the shooting, there'd be no news. Like, it wouldn't be in the fucking paper because that shit happens all the time. Okay, it's a white male that did it. That in itself was the problem. So if they did it among, if there was a retail store was women, 8 white women, they would say white male discriminatory against women's rights or women.
Yes.
So
Yeah,
it's
you're probably
about
right.
the white man. So really, it's let's fuck the white man over further. This guy's an asshole, loser, piece of shit, deranged fuck who did the shooting, right? Everyone agrees. That's not to do with racial, but if it was a black male or even a female to the shooting, no one would ever know about the news. These things, I'm not saying it's right, but these terrible, horrific events happen every day in our country. Every day in our country. Shootings happen all the time. But
they haven't in the last couple years.
No, Bronson, they have.
Well, that's part of my theory. That is
they have. They happen all the time in these
not mass shootings. Were one-on-one, but not a mass.
Okay, 6 people is not. I know
it's considered a mass shooting. 8 people dying.
It's considered a mass shooting because of the news.
No, but one person walking in to one place and mowing people down is considered a mass shooting. That's very different than on the street. Someone gets in a fight with someone and you shoot one person.
What about
okay? I get. Don't you agree?
What about
that
Boca,
happens all the time
at Kanpai when that shooting, like 2 people killed?
That's a mass shooting. That's considered a mass shooting.
And what happened with that? Was there any newsworthy about it?
No,
nothing. Okay, there you go.
Because it doesn't fit into the agenda.
That's the point.
Okay, so then that Asian. Also, it's funny. Well, not funny, but. You were like, isn't it sad that these families like can't grieve because,
not grieve. I'm just saying, where's the recognition?
Right, but then also, this is probably a sick thought, like sick in a twisted way. But I was like, it happened at a happy endings place. So it's like, imagine your husband got shot in that shooting, or was even like a witness, right? Like, imagine
the guy got shot.
No, but like imagine
he was happy at his last moment.
Like, imagine your husband was a witness to this because he was in the shooting, and then you are like, "Oh my god,
that's a terrible thing."
Oh my god,
maybe you're better off not knowing.
Right? Maybe the husband.
No, that wasn't mine. That's a different Sung Lee. I don't know who that person is.
Right. That I feel like it's kind of crazy that it happened at one of those places. Also, how do those places even exist anymore? How is that?
Oh, let's not go into that. I hear you. We go. You have so many topics.
Because I was reading an article that said on happyendings.com or on some website, like there are websites that you go and you look for massage parlors that
Ronnie,
do that.
You showed us fucking bronies. I mean, there's websites for
but it's crazy that prostitution is illegal, but then it also exists no problem in society.
They exist illegally. They just turn the cheek.
They just turn right, but that's
and same with prostitutes. They turn the cheek too. They don't want to do paperwork, whatever.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. That's crazy.
That shit was fucking me like, hey, but that guy's jerking off. It's terrible. Yeah. So what about Boulder, Colorado?
Okay, so that Asian one happened 2 weeks ago.
I'm very against that. That's a fucking joke. I won't even give that recognition. I won't give that recognition because it's purely propaganda and a personal agenda, and it's against the white man and the white people. And I'm over that.
Yeah, and so that happened, and it was everywhere. Everywhere you went on the internet or on TV, it was they were talking about that, and it was anti-Asian hate. Americans hate Asian people. The theme went all the way back to Trump. They were saying this all started with Trump because Trump called it the China virus. So now he put a target on Asian people.
You know, I like to hear, for any of our listeners are Asian, I like to get your view if you agree with the philosophy of it being an attack against Asians, or if you think it's propaganda and it's actually insulting to the Asian cause.
They're using them as pawns.
That's my point. So I'm curious enough we're going to be going live on Tuesday at 10:15 Eastern time that we do on TikTok we're not this Tuesday?
No, Tuesday I think is when we're doing our Patreon Zoom because it's the last day of the month.
Wow. Maybe tomorrow night we'll go live.
Yeah.
So we're going to go live probably Monday, which is the same night this comes out. But I'm curious enough if there's any Asian listeners or followers. I want to know your thoughts and take on it. DM Bronson, because this is if it was against Jews, if they made it say thing against, like, say, I would find it offensive.
But also they don't, because there are anti-Semitic shootings that happen all the time, and it's never
in temples, mass shootings in fucking temples.
It's never happens,
and it gets like this much. Passover was this past weekend. I didn't see anything in the fucking news about Passover.
No,
it's a joke.
Which is okay. Like we're an insane minority in this country, so I don't think that they should talk about it on CNN because it's barely any people about Passover. I'm saying,
but they do on Easter.
Right, well, Easter is...
But why not? What the fuck?
46% of this country celebrates Easter.
Yeah, okay.
Less than 1% of this country celebrates Passover.
That's even reason more to educate people.
No, but Dad, you're the opposite. You don't agree with that. Like, you say, oh my God, it's everything I see on TV is black this, black that. They're only 13% of this country. But then you want that for less than 1%?
No, I didn't say because only 13%. I'm saying stop shoving it down my throat.
Or 18% now.
Don't shove it down my throat because of the fucking propaganda and the agenda. That's what I'm saying. I don't care.
Right, but when they say Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Christmas, Happy Passover, or Happy Hanukkah, you go Kwanzaa. Who celebrates that? Why do they even put that on there?
I don't say that. That's not what I'm saying.
I don't think that mainstream things should be talking about Passover because it's not a part of this country. It's so minuscule. But anyways,
maybe more reason to educate people.
And that's what, when you say shoving down my throat, all this black stuff, that's
not educating.
That's what they're trying. That's what they believe they're doing.
What they're doing. They do it to fucking everything that's on the commercials and the TV shows and all that stuff. It's the
commercials.
sell.
I agree with.
It's all
the commercials.
Even the TV shows. It's all about getting the people to watch. It's nothing to do with it. They don't give a shit.
No, I'm not talking about the media. I'm talking about like people when they. How you say it's all I hear is black this, black that, Black Lives Matter. They're in the streets. What do you think they're doing if not trying to change and educate?
Okay, is this going to be a BLM?
No,
thing?
let's go back
I can rant about that.
No.
They're not fucking trying to change and educate. Let's be very fucking clear.
What are they trying to do if not change?
It's trying to control. It's all about control. It's not trying to change and educate. Educate? Fucking the people that are complaining in the fucking streets they can't even spell educate.
That's horrible.
It's not horrible.
And
no, because they don't even understand the purpose of what they're fucking doing. They don't understand the purpose.
Yes.
A lot.
But you think like the original founders of Black Lives Matter.
Oh, you mean the white Democrats? The original founders of Black Lives Matter? You're right.
No, those are the original funders.
You're right. They do know what they're doing. I take
those
it back.
Those are the original funders.
I stand corrected. 100%. The white, wealthy, liberal Democrats who run BLM, that no money goes towards African Americans, nothing goes towards educating, nothing goes towards the inner city schools, nothing goes to help those who need help. You're right. They 100% know what they're doing, and they can spell educate, and they're the ones that are,
I agree that a lot of Black Lives Matter, the movement has been co-opted by those people that you're speaking of, and they're using like black people as pawns.
Okay, Bronson.
But I think the original this is what I always try to get you to think.
Founder?
There were a few people. But you don't think the people who started that truly believe in their heart that they wanted to do something better for society in their own view?
Maybe. I don't know.
I think it's changed.
You know what I like to see them do? I like to see all the fucking leaders of BLM go to fucking Biden, go to his fucking house now. No, listen.
They protest in the front of the White House every day.
$86 million that he took for the fucking illegal aliens coming over the border and put them in fucking hotels. And I think that they should go say, give us that fucking money to go to inner city schools.
They do.
Wait, and that's how what a piece of shit he is. And in addition to that, why are we giving $86 million to fucking hotel rooms to illegal people?
Wait, we're getting off. I know. We got to get back to the shooting.
What about our fucking homeless and our own veteran Americans that we don't take care of? Give me a fucking break.
I'm Googling on DuckDuckGo, Black Lives Matter White House protests.
I want to talk
because
about
this has been happening a lot and no one is talking about it.
You know why they don't talk about it? Because it's against the government.
Exactly.
And they want to show they support the government. Joke.
Okay, I'm going to have to do too
much
digging.
Help out. We'll get to that border shit. I want to talk about that because that angers me.
Yeah, we have a lot of border stuff to talk to too.
But
okay, so let me wrap up my whole theory on this shooting stuff because I'm building to something.
I'm listening.
So the Asian one happened. Terrible tragedy. It was co-opted to be an Asian hate thing. Get Asians on the side of the Democrats. I don't know the exact motives. Then
it's against white men.
Then that's
what it was. It's against white men. Nothing to do with Asians. It's against white males.
Yeah. So then literally, I think it was 5 days later, another shooting happened.
Okay.
In Boulder, Colorado.
Okay.
I believe it was in a Yeah. So a gunman opened fire at a King Soopers grocery store in Colorado, killing 10 people, including a police officer.
Terrible.
Okay. So more people were killed in this one, and a cop was killed.
No news, probably, because it's all white people in Boulder, Colorado.
Do you know who the shooter was?
Black male. White male.
Muslim. Ahmad Ali Aliwi Alisa was the name of the shooter. Also a 21-year-old. So there are a lot of
crazy fuck.
So there are similarities between these. Both were 21. Both were men. Both walked into a public place and killed. One was 8. One was 10. There was not.
Is that a picture of him?
This is the suspect. Yeah.
So is he in jail?
Yeah.
Look,
the suspect had removed all of his clothing, was dressed only in shorts when he was taken into custody.
They need to kill him. Seriously, they need to look at him.
The suspect was charged with 10 counts of first-degree murder and 1 charge of attempted murder, according to his arrest warrant. His first court appearance is scheduled for Thursday.
Should fuck him in the ass.
So
and
he
rape
was
him in
armed
jail.
with an assault rifle or black AR-15 and wearing a tactical or armored vest. He had a pistol modified with an arm brace and was also carrying a 9mm handgun. There's no motive yet, really, that they said that. So his family was from Syria. He may have suffered from mental illness, according to his brother.
May.
So right. So these are both articles from CNN. So the one about the Atlanta shooting, I was reading a CNN article. This is also a CNN article. So instantly, I have not seen a single thing about who the people that were killed, the victims. I've not seen their races or anything.
Look, they're all white in Boulder,
It just
Colorado.
said
You know
10
that, right?
people, including a Boulder police officer.
You know that, right? Because in Boulder, Colorado, everyone's white.
So I'm just trying to show these happened within 5 days of each other. They were both from 21-year-old men in this country.
Are you surprised?
No, but it's just unbelievably obvious how agenda-driven the world is.
It's going to get worse.
And there was no talk about this. I mean, there was talk about it. Like, it was on the news. They reported it. But after 2 days, it was gone.
Correct.
And no one was like Boulder, pray for Boulder.
It's gone because it doesn't. Not only it's not their agenda, it's not sexy. It's not with a topic of racial shit and everything.
I'm basically just trying to show how obvious it is.
Anti-fucking white, everything's got to be. The guy's a Muslim. Why is that not a terrorist attack?
And in the other one,
why is that not a terrorist attack?
In the Atlanta shooting article, they don't really talk about the victim other than he was a white male and his history of sexual deviance.
You mean not the victim, the perpetrator.
The perpetrator, sorry.
Right.
In this one, so they said he might suffer from a mental illness. What does that mean? That's just giving him sympathy. Saying someone
How about saying he's an asshole and should
saying
be killed?
someone might suffer from something is the most meaningless statement. And then
look what's in bold print. And
right,
caps.
the brother says he
it.
believed the suspect was paranoid. The district attorney said the suspect is a resident of Arvada and lived most of his life in the United States. Do you see this? What they're trying to do?
Yeah.
I think both of these men are evil monsters who are symptoms of larger problems. Yes, either they had mental illness, either they lost their jobs in COVID and it's driven them to craziness. Either way, they are both bad people who should be in jail. But to see the blatant, like everyone keeps saying Bronson keeps getting red pill, it's like when you view these two articles, how can you not view it and see the blatant hypocrisy in it?
Yeah,
they're trying to sympathize the Syrian Muslim shooter of 10 people, but they're trying to demonize the white shooter of 8 people. Both should be demonized.
Wait, against Asians.
Yeah.
Right. Which has nothing to do with Asians.
It makes me really fed up.
I don't blame you, Bronson.
And then I think it's even part of a bigger thing, which we can talk about. I think that this, like a lot of focus is being paid attention to shooting stories right now because 2 days after the Boulder shooting, so the Atlanta shooting happened, I think 5 days later the Boulder shooting happened. 2 days later, there was gun legislation reform that was proposed in Congress.
They're trying to get rid of the guns.
Right. For the last
That'll be
the last
fucking
4
shit
years,
show,
we never heard. I mean, we heard, but it was guns and mass shootings weren't really a focus in the news the last couple years. They weren't. We didn't really have school shootings. We didn't really have.
Isn't it amazing how the shootings are starting again?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Without saying that, that's what I'm saying.
Okay, but do you know why? We have a weak government. Weak government. Wait. I'm telling you right now.
I think that the government kind of.
You think provoking it?
Not provoke. I think they lean into it. Similar with the Capitol riot. I think the government is like, ooh, this is happening. Let's use it to our advantage.
Okay, well, I agree with that. But I got to tell you something. Mark my words. There'll be numerous terrorist attacks from outside the country.
Inside the country.
Wait, I get that, but I'm talking outside
Which is
the
scarier
country.
inside.
Outside the country, on the U.S., in the next 4 years, based on our weak fucking government and what we're allowing with the borders and things like that. 110%.
You hear what happened with China?
No.
Speaking of weak government, I think I have the article here. This one's ridiculous. Get ready to be triggered on this. Don't read the headline. No, you could look at me, but okay. So last week, last week.
I want to read the headline.
Last week, Biden sent.
Can I read the headline?
No, Biden sent like a convoy of American diplomats to meet with Chinese diplomats in Alaska to kind of. So Trump created like a trade embargo, right? We kind of were in a little bit of a trade war the last couple of years with China. Trump kind of put high tariffs on them. And so Biden sent a team and they met in Alaska with Chinese diplomats to kind of ease tensions a little, foster peace, just kind of a diplomatic thing. China, the Chinese diplomats, so they sat down at the meeting. Here's a picture of the meeting. So Chinese diplomats on one side, Americans on the other.
Was Biden there?
No.
Who was there? Harris?
Secretary of State. The Secretary of State and the National Security Advisor met with Chinese Communist Party Foreign Affairs Chief and China's State Counselor on Thursday. The first thing that happened was China, the Chinese diplomats were literally yelling at the American diplomats for slaughtering black people and say, quote, this is a quote, Americans have little faith in their democracy. That's how they opened the talks up.
What?
Yep.
Wait, I'm not following.
China accused the U.S. of slaughtering black people and said Americans have little faith in their democracy during ill-tempered talks. The two nations met face-to-face in Alaska on Thursday evening for the first time since Biden took office. Any hopes that bilateral relations could be reset after years of trade wars and tensions over cybersecurity during Trump's presidency were quickly stamped out. The U.S. Secretary of State opened the meeting by referring to concerns over Beijing's human rights record. China's top official advisors thunderously responded by accusing the U.S. of its own human rights violations. This is the quote. "We hope that the United States will do better on human rights," Yang said during a 15-minute speech. The fact is that there are many problems within the U.S. regarding human rights, which is admitted by the U.S. itself. He added that the U.S. is racist, which is deep-seated, and that they did not just emerge over the last 4 years, such as Black Lives Matter. Do you see what they're trying to do? They're trying to make us fight each other, tear us apart. They love that we are polarized.
Because we're causing it.
And we just let this happen. We let them yell at us.
Don't you think, first of all, which shows how fucking weak we are. Okay, I would be like, fuck you,
Because
meeting's over, right?
Everyone on the show knows that I don't like Trump, but China never would have done that when Trump was... They didn't do it.
No, never happened.
The first time that China met under the Biden presidency, they were yelling at us.
Because Biden's a pussy. But here's the other thing. So what happens is... When you start showing how weak America is, and you start showing the problems in America, and all this is on social media and the news stations, don't you think other countries laugh at us? That's why it's gonna be. That's why it's gonna be terrorist attacks. We're fucking weak. If we don't look strong and look like a unified front, okay, it's a fucking problem. Like this, like parenting. If you have one parent that's weak and one parent that's strong, and you're not a unified front with your kids will fucking run circles all over you. So what we've done, America, because of our democratic and liberal political views, they're literally letting the inmates run the asylum. That's what they're doing. And think about it. If we're Americans and we're fed up and we think they're a fucking joke, we think America's a joke as Americans, right?
Yeah, the world laughs at us.
Of course they laugh at us. So you're surprised?
But also, can't
Fucking
you see,
morons.
like, China is arguably, not even arguably, they are the biggest offender of human rights violations in the world right now.
And everything.
Not only that, but literally the concentration camps of the Uyghur Muslims that I showed you those videos of.
Yep.
They're literally killing people and putting them taking them from their families and putting them in concentration camps. And they're saying that the U.S.
Well, they're just projecting, but they're right.
No,
a
they're
lot of things
provoking because all they're doing is trying to get Americans to say, "Yeah, America does suck." The fact that they said Americans have little faith in their democracy, they're trying to get us to have little faith in our democracy.
But we do have a little faith in our democracy.
Right, but they're stoking the fires because then they can win. It's terrible.
But we do have a little faith.
It's so scary.
Look at our government.
Yeah.
We have no faith in our government.
I have China's no faith. A big bully.
Well,
also this week.
Wait. If Trump was there, that would never, like you said, would never happen. We are pussies. Don't you say we are? Right, but allow it.
I know no one's standing up to them anymore.
It's a problem.
This week, speaking of China, this is getting really bad because today it just retaliated even more. So remember I was telling you about how China was like moving in the South China Sea and putting ships there, and we were like, you can't do that, and they continued doing it. So over the last couple of days, China sent a fleet of fishing vessels, like big commercial fishing ships, into the Philippine Ocean, like into sovereign Philippine waters, and started fishing there. And the way these commercial fishers do it is like they'll go into an area and they'll fish it out, so it completely destroys it. They completely will ruin a reef. They'll take all the fish that exists and then they move on. So they decimate it.
Interesting.
This week, a huge fleet of them, like 50 of these ships, which are very large, all moved into the Philippine Sea together in a coordinated line.
That's so purposeful.
No, it was. Yeah. And then the Philippine government said you have to leave, and China just started fishing.
And they didn't do it. Philippines did nothing.
And the Philippines today, let me see if I can get up the article. I saw that they were like declaring some act of war. Philippines.
Do they even have an army of the Philippines?
China.
Or are they like Canada?
Fishing. Chinese fishing fleet anchored on Philippine reef raises tensions. Chinese ship deployment rolls South China Sea. Manila angry over Chinese fishing fleet. So, I mean, I can't find out. I saw something. Oh, here on Monday, a reconnaissance flight from the U.S. or from the Philippine Air Force showed that 183 of the ships were still there. So you basically have around 200 vessels that have been there for weeks now.
Oh, they're destroying. They're going to destroy the whole water.
Yeah, look at all these ships. Like, it's a lot. And these are government-owned ships. Like, they're not private. So it's the Chinese government knows.
They're testing the waters and pushing them. And
it's honestly exactly like what happened on the eve of World War II, where the Nazis were slowly going. They just infiltrated Sudetenland, and they were like, okay, is anyone going to do anything about this? No one did anything. And they're like, okay, we're in. And then they were like, okay, we're going to go to Czechoslovakia. Is anyone going to do anything about this? Nope. And then we had that's what's happening. No one's standing up to this.
And here's the problem. You've got Biden in and Harris in office. It's going to be a major problem. Sad. This is depressing.
I don't know what to do.
I'm not going to sleep tonight.
I know. I don't know what to do.
Terrible.
Oh, and going back to the shooting thing, there was a couple days after the Boulder shooting, there was another shooting in Virginia Beach where another cop was killed.
Okay.
But no one really talked about this one.
Were they of cop being killed? Why would people care about that?
But so there were three, just to go back to how I'm saying guns are crazy in the news right now. 1 month ago, we never heard any stories about guns. 6 months ago, we never heard any stories about guns. I mean, it was COVID time, so I'll give that caveat. People weren't out as much. 1 week, we get 3.
Well, okay. First of all, when
that's a huge coincidence.
Correct. Well, they're just putting it in the news.
Right.
This has been going on for quite some time. But they had to first get their agenda of a woman and a man together.
Do you want to talk about that 86 million anymore? Because you brought that topic to me. I mean, you said it. So basically, Biden.
So they basically open up the fucking borders and let anybody in. And what they're doing is that Biden spent $86 million in various hotel rooms for migrants as putting them up in hotel rooms. $86 million of government American money until they can figure out what to do with all these people that they want to let in and come in here illegally. Not taking care of taking $86 million, putting into inner city schools and education. Not taking care of our own internal American homeless. Not taking care of our fucking vets. The people that fought for our country that are homeless and unemployed, not taking that money. Instead, they're doing that. They're giving the stimulus check, the $400 stimulus check. People in prison were getting that. You know that. People in fucking prison were getting stimulus checks.
Well, that one genuinely doesn't make sense because they weren't.
Wait,
no jobs
doesn't make
away
sense.
From them.
They should not get at all. Are you fucking? Nothing's changed.
I mean, the whole point of the stimulus was that like if you didn't have a job
to help
and it was taken
live while you couldn't work and then go out,
and they're not like prisoners aren't contributing to society. They're outside of society.
Fucking drains.
So what gets even worse about this border crisis was, which there's a huge crisis at the border. None of the Democrats are talking about it.
When they're letting them in.
When there was a crisis at the border a couple of years ago, like when so many people were trying to cross, when Trump was president, everyone was there at the border with news cameras crying, right? Like literally there's pictures of AOC crying at the border because she felt so bad. Yet now there's the places are so overrun that they're putting them in hotel rooms.
Beyond overrun.
Okay, so this article's really scary. So for the last couple weeks, the White House hasn't been letting any press down to the border. into the facilities.
Yeah, keeping it because they're doing shit.
They haven't let any. So remember we saw those pictures of the Carrizo Springs site where they said they like put
the van with the flowers.
So there were like two pictures that the government took and sent them out to the press.
Correct. Propaganda.
No press has been allowed to go down. A couple days ago, Jen Psaki, who's Biden's press secretary, said that now finally they're going to allow one camera.
You know what it's like? Wait, you know what it's like? It's like visiting day at camp. Parents go in tomorrow, make sure the place looks perfectly good, and they get everything ready.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, so they're literally letting one camera.
What's that on the right?
An ad.
Okay, go ahead.
They're letting one camera into the facility.
Which is totally scripted.
And no, but they're not even letting it into the real facility. She admitted they're letting it into an aspirational facility.
Oh,
yep.
My God.
So
Bron.
Here's this headline says, Jen Psaki defends the White House's decision to send their press cameras into better migrant shelter instead of the one filled with crowded kids, calling it a, quote, first step to more media access.
Okay, people need to know about this, Bronson.
White House press secretary was asked why the media was being sent to a, quote, aspirational facility instead of one of the crowded shelters. She said, we're open to providing access there, and this is just the first step in the process of providing greater access to the media to decision. More than 16,000 children are currently being held in U.S. custody at the border. Also, that's a fact in this.
Why? First of all, why are they not being? Number one is why are they not being sent home? Why are they? No, what the fuck? Why send them the fuck back? Don't let them in.
Children, Dad.
Bronson, they're bringing children purposely.
I know, but then send the adults home. What do you do with the children? You're going to send a 6-year-old child home?
Yeah, listen, Bronson.
But what if you're going to send them home to nothing? What if the cartel killed their parents to get the kid?
So what do you do?
And then takes the kid across the border? I know, but that's why it's a crisis.
No, listen,
we don't know what to do
because they allowed.
But we're America. We're the land of the free.
They allowed the board. They allowed the borders to be fucking open, so they're now using scam. And if they
but Dad, they let us. Our grandparents came in because they were
legally
right. But it took one day to come in back then.
Okay, but things changed, Bronson.
But now it'll take 7 years.
Then it takes 7 years.
But what if in 3 weeks you're going to die,
Bronson? Things fucking changed.
But Dad, don't you? So if there was, let's say Israel was under attack, and we were like in another world war, right? And so Jews were being persecuted and being put in camps in Iran. Israel was taken over completely. The government of Israel didn't exist anymore. And Jews were being rounded up every day and put in concentration camps. And a bunch of Jews were flying over to America because they're like, if we didn't get on this plane, they would have taken us to the camp.
America would send those Jews back, I guarantee.
And you would be okay with that.
No, America would send those Jews back, guaranteed.
Wait, so I'm asking. So if they came over and we're like, we America's an ally of ours. We want to. It's the land of the free. We're coming here. Are literally going to be killed if we get back off this plane.
But what do we do, Bronson? We open up to everybody.
No, I know, but that's why it's tricky.
We can't.
But you're like, so it takes 7 years. It takes 7 years. But that's not fair.
We're not the savior of every country. We're not the savior. We're not God. We can't help everybody in the world.
But also, shouldn't we? We're a country of people wanting to come here to better their lives. We came here to better our lives.
Okay, but we came here. Our grandparents.
But Dad, it took one day back then.
But things changed, Bronson.
I know, but then shouldn't
things have changed?
But Dad, things have changed. That's not a good argument.
No, but
things have changed in the government for the worse.
Bronson, slavery was a thing back then. Now no one knows. Everyone knows it's wrong.
Right, but Dad, things also changed for the worse. Back then.
But things
I think that's
change.
for the worse. That it'll take someone years to get into this country.
By the way, I think people should be allowed to come here.
I think the beauty of America is that if someone wants to come to, like, if you want to go to Somalia to like better yourself, it's going to be really hard. You're not going to be able to assimilate into the culture, whatever. The beauty of America is that like anyone can come as long as they adopt American culture, they can thrive in this country.
But they're not
shouldn't we
America.
want people to come?
Bronson.
People who want to be in America, shouldn't we welcome them?
Bronson, I have no problem if somebody wants to come to America. It's productive, pays taxes, and assimilates to American culture.
But if we don't let them come legally, then how can they pay taxes?
Listen, I have a problem with people who come here, don't want to follow the rules, the laws. They want to change America.
It's the Americans that don't want to follow the rules and the laws.
It's now.
Dad, you said all the time, like, Mexican immigrants are some of the best Americans we have because they love America. They follow
Bronson, I think the laws coming over here are too restrictive. People want to come here legally. I'm in favor of that. I really do. I think that people want to come in and they're productive. They want to make America better and use it a land of opportunity. Let them be here illegally. I get it, but not illegally. So
I don't want anyone illegally here.
So when you open up the borders and say you can come over and do it at least on your own recognizance and so forth, I have an issue.
But also, why can't we make it like it was when we had Ellis Island,
and
where you showed up, you waited in a line,
and do what?
No,
where do they go?
Wait. At Ellis Island, you waited in a line, and someone checked your records. If you were a criminal, you weren't allowed in.
And what if you don't have records?
If you were sick, you weren't allowed in. If you didn't have records, you weren't allowed in.
Fine.
And then they checked you almost like when you land in like customs. As long as you meet the requirements, you can come into the country. That's how it was at Ellis Island. It took you 2 hours.
And then what do they do?
And then they try to apply for citizenship. They pay taxes. They get a job. They do that. Like when I went and lived in Australia, I went there legally. I worked. I participated in the government. I wasn't a citizen, but I was a visitor in the country legally and contributed to the culture and society. And it took me 1 hour to do it. Why should we be restricting that so much?
I think the laws to come in here to become a U.S. citizen should be less restricted.
Yeah, and becoming a citizen is different than just coming here also.
But this is a whole different thing. This is like a mad exodus to come over to America.
But then doesn't that show that like, see, when I hear that like there's a crisis because everyone wants to come to America, I'm like, that's awesome. Let's try to make it happen.
That's fine,
because
but not
shouldn't we be proud of that?
Okay, but
we created a country that everyone in the world wants to come to.
Okay. Bronson. Yeah, we can't have fucking hundreds of handouts. So here's what we'll do. I'm going to go ahead and say I have my 3 boys. I'm going to say, you know what?
What do we have to hand out?
You're going to see it.
Giving someone a citizenship is a handout?
Okay. You want to let me finish a fucking sentence?
Okay.
The reality is, Bronson, there are fucking handouts. Where you got it. Come on, you got your card. See ya. The government can't get their fucking shit in order right now. They fucking came to handle the people in our own country. Look at the fucking homeless problem we have. You saw it in New Orleans.
That's a very different issue.
No. We have major problems internally with unemployment. Okay. We can't even handle the racial differences in our country. Education's at all-time fucking low. Unemployment's a fucking joke. We have homeless a problem. Mental illness a problem. Guns are a problem. Drugs are a problem. Crime is a major problem. So let's let another 50 fucking million people come in from all places that want to rape and pillage.
Why do they want to rape and pillage? What if those people are the ones that come in and save the day? Dad, but Jewish immigrants came in.
Oh my God, I'm getting a headache. I hear you.
And Indian immigrants came in and made this country great. Like literally, this country was built on immigrants coming in with different ideas. German immigrants started the space program. Literally, NASA was founded by German immigrants. Like most of our top companies were founded by immigrants.
Bronson.
So what if immigrants come in and it's crazy that you said this sentence. So they're going to come in and rape and pillage? No, not they're going to come in and help.
Because we can't. I agree with you that I think people should be able to come in and should be not take 7 years to become a U.S. citizen and be here. I agree with that. But we just can't open up the borders. We have so many internal problems right now. We can't handle it. Don't you think it's a problem? What they're doing is printing $86 million more of the dollar to dilute the current American dollar and create further inflation and give it to fucking put them in
$1.9 trillion is what they printed.
Put them in fucking hotel rooms. I'm in New Orleans. You came from LA. The amount of homeless there. I'm in New Orleans. The fucking hundreds of tents under the thing. There's veterans that don't even have roofs over their head. There's people because the government shut them down with fucking COVID, took their jobs away and livelihood away, and they get $1,400. And with some people get it, and they're in prison to get $1,400. Give 1 minute.
It's not one or the other.
No, but my point is, we don't have the manpower of the government to take care of every fucking problem. So instead of them talking out of their fucking asses and giving 8% to each little topic, how about give 110% to one topic, then move on to the next? Finish one project. We can't solve all the world's problems. Let's take care of America first, our people first, and solve those internal problems. Then we have a better working internal system. It's the same analogy. You're on an airplane. When there's no oxygen, the airplane's going down. They fall out of the top. They say put it on yourself first before you put it on the person next to you. Because if you don't put it on yourself first, you could become unconscious. You can't take a child next to you. I'm all in favor of my whole motto, live and let live. But we can't solve everybody's problem. All the world's problem. We're not the savior. I don't say it to be mean.
I don't want to be the savior.
I don't say it to be mean or callous. I'm saying we have so many internal problems. How is it that we have such an unbelievable amount of homeless? How is it that we have so many, the drug problem, the lack of education, but yet we're putting $86 million worth of people who shouldn't be here in hotels, and then the government's gonna say we're gonna pick and choose what photos you could take because of the bullshit propaganda? It's a fucking problem. I want to help those that need help, but we can't help them. I can't help everybody. I pick and choose charities.
Why?
Because you're talking idealistically.
No, but I'm also saying, why do we have to help them? This, like, the government doesn't need. Why can't we just let people who aren't criminals and like let good people in and just let them live lives?
Okay. So if we let it,
there are millions of acres unlived in this country that they can live in. Thousands of acres.
You're talking in a unrealistic, idealistic way. It doesn't. What you're saying is
yes. I'll admit that
it's nice in conclusory and says you're a good person, you have a good core and good soul, and I agree that'd be nice. But that's not the reality. Anytime you come into a place, for example, if they say we're going to bring in 20 million people, we're going to have a lot more homeless now. What if they start? We're going to have more crime. We're going to have no way to track it. Our healthcare system and facilities can't handle it. We're already overcrowded in our prisons. We have people that should be in jail that are not in jail.
But don't you see? You're only picking the pessimistic things.
No.
Name 4 good things that would come out of immigrants coming. Name them.
Listen,
you just named 7 bad things.
No.
See, exactly. You don't want to name a good thing.
Let me fit. If you can't ask me a question and keep asking me a question and hounding me without letting me
because I ask
answer.
you a question, you go no.
You said you're only picking.
I said name 4 things. You said no. So that's why I asked it again.
It has to be trickled in. It has to be done with a proper process. You can't let it all. You can't open the floodgates.
Oh, I never said floodgates.
So I'm in agreement. Let people come in here legally. Let it be a little less restrictive in certain ways and pick and choose. The problem is, are we going to pick and choose the person who's better for, quote, the job of coming in the U.S.? Or we say, you know what, let's get the large number of minorities in. Even though they might not be better, not as educated, this group, but let them in because they deserve a chance. Or do we say, let's let the person who might be a little bit better position to better our country, and we believe in that person? We don't do that.
And I wouldn't put the faith in the government to pick and choose the right people to come into the country at all.
Who would you pick?
No. I'm saying I don't trust the government to pick proper immigrants.
I think we're saying the same thing, you and I. I think the problem is this. I think that you're talking from a very simplistic, conclusory type way, and I'm saying that sounds nice, but implementing is not easy, and you have to assimilate it in.
Of course, I admit that.
And I'm saying it doesn't. We have such major problems inside right now that in our own country, I think we have to somehow. I think we're too worried about what's outside our borders, and we have to start worrying more what's inside our border to make America great again and take care of our own within. It's like this.
You know what made America great? When was America great? That's that.
Why don't you answer the question?
No. Because I want to know. Like, pick a decade or pick a time.
I don't know, Bronson. I don't know.
So you said we need to make America great again, but you don't know when it was great. Okay. What are you referencing when you say make America great again?
Okay, Bronson. My point.
Wait. Like, I'm genuinely asking. Like, are you talking about the 80s? Are you talking about the 1800s? What
I don't know. I just think we have major problems right now. I don't know.
But so you said we have to make America great again, but you don't know when it was ever great.
Then we have to make America better. Does that make you happier?
No, because what I was going to say is if you said America was great in the 50s, then I would have answered, yeah. And the 50s was when we had the biggest wave of immigrants come into this country, was at the end of World War II.
Okay, Bronson, let them all in. That's what you're saying. No, that's what you're saying. That's what you're saying.
Well, then you're not listening to me because
I am listening to you because I'm telling you that I'm in agreement. There's a process to get people in here to come to our country. We know the system's fucked up. We know that. But the way to do it is you can't have
I agree.
So that's all I'm saying.
Oh, I agree that the way they're doing it is terrible.
New people coming in, younger generation, could have great ideas, could make certain things
That's
grow.
what I'm saying as well.
But that also could happen within America. So maybe if we maybe if we take our money and educate our American fucking children, the minorities that they feel is not educated would be better, educate them because it's power with education, make them fucking better, and that'll make our future better.
I agree.
Okay, but I gotta tell you something, Bronson. If it's a question of me doing a fundraiser for my kids' high school or a fucking high school an hour away, I'm doing it for my kids' high school. I'm gonna take care of my own first.
I agree.
So let's educate our people who
But
need
there's
education.
there's a difference between us saying something and then government policy.
But $86 million should have went to the inner city schools for education. I don't give a fuck about people that came over illegally. They're in hotel rooms. Put them in fucking tents. Put them in fucking tents.
Well, that is what they're doing.
No, they put them in hotel rooms.
Well, yes, they're doing both.
I gotta go to New Orleans and I see, or LA, and I see American people. Probably half of them fought for our fucking country to allow freedom, and they're fucking homeless. And we're giving strangers from foreign countries, put them in hotel rooms.
We're also putting plenty of homeless in hotel rooms too. That was a huge thing in LA as well.
But you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, and I agree with you. I think this country, literally the whole foundation of this country was people coming from elsewhere, and it's so complicated. There's no right way to do it.
But you know we do.
But I also think if when you listen back to this, you'll hear that your immediate reaction to immigrants was there was not a single positive thing you said. It was all negative. You said they're going to come here, they're going to rape, they're going to pillage.
That's not true.
You said crime's going to go up, homelessness is going to go up. Right, but can you name?
You know why?
I said, can you name four good things that would happen?
No, the reason
I can name good things that would happen.
The reason why I'm saying that,
those things will definitely happen as well.
The reason why I'm saying that, Bronson, is because you can't. The infrastructure cannot handle the number of people. That's what I'm saying. For example,
it can.
For example, when you had in New Orleans many years ago,
China has way more people. They handle it great.
Okay. When you had in New Orleans, and you had when the levees broke, and they put them in the dome, okay, and there was the rapes and the back of the sewage.
Right, but that was a bad decision.
I'm making a simple analogy.
Yeah.
The infrastructure could not handle the number of people. Okay. Our government is a joke. We can't handle simple fucking things. The first thing they passed was the gender shit.
Our government needs to do a better job.
We allowed China, I don't care if Democrat Republicans joke, we allowed China to yell at us. We should say, get the fuck out of our country and leave, okay?
Yeah.
And we should have made the tariffs higher on products.
And we should have publicly said we've never publicly said as a government that they have concentration camps.
Because we're in the pockets of the Chinese government.
Yeah.
Okay? China owns half of New York City. I wouldn't be surprised if this was the whole scam with to buy more real estate in New York City so China can own more with the whole COVID shit. So the problem is this. I 100% always said, if people come here legally and they contribute, it's like this, if you're an American citizen, you don't contribute and pay taxes, get the fuck out. I say that too. So I agree with you. But the problem is I'm saying the infrastructure, it's guaranteed chaos if we allow it this way. I don't know what the answer is.
Chaos. It's already chaos.
It's going to be worse. I don't know what the answer is. I do agree that we should have people that want to come to America and want a better America and contribute to America. 100% should be here. 100%. I agree with that all day long. But not letting them come in by drones of thousands and thousands of people of coming to our country.
I don't think
that's a good idea. What if they start
idea.
fucking packing up tents and living in tents right outside our house like they're doing in fucking L.A. where they had these $10 million homes in L.A. and now they passed the law, you could fucking live right there outside.
Right, but then don't you think, no one wants to live in a tent?
Oh, I don't know if I agree with you at that point.
The majority of people, let me say the majority of homeless people, or unhoused as they call it now, which is actually what they say.
Homeless.
The majority of homeless people in this country, I would argue, don't want to be homeless. Okay. Would you agree with that?
I would tend to agree with that, but I think there's a certain point where it's mental illness.
So I'm saying the majority.
And drugs and like that. Now it's become a subcultural way of life. They're used to it and they're fine with it.
I think the majority of let me rephrase it. I think the majority of homeless, if given the opportunity, would rather live a nice American life with a house and white picket fence and a nice stable job and 2.5 kids.
Wouldn't anybody?
Right. So this is what I'm saying.
Some people can't.
But you're saying, what if you're making it like it's the immigrants' fault and problem.
No.
Oh, wait, can you let me finish?
Not even close.
Because you said, what if they start putting tents outside of us? They don't want to do that. They'd have to because America is a broken system. So why don't we? You even just said, it's chaos. You literally said the American government doesn't know how to handle.
Calm down there, Rainbow. That's not what I'm saying.
Can you let me finish?
Yes.
No one wants to come to America to live in a tent and not have a job. Anyone who's trying to get into this country is doing it for a reason. They're not doing it to live on the streets. They could do that anywhere. They're coming here, or let me say the majority then. Let me even say 51%. The majority.
That's majority. Bro.
Right. Are coming here because they want a better life. So then if they don't get it, that's a symptom of America at the moment. The fact that there's so many homeless, the fact that there's race riots in the street all the time, that means that there's something broken here. Something's not working.
Really? Is that what it means? How many people in America?
338 million.
338 million. Okay, now what if we got up to 500 million? Could America sustain it?
You know how, Dad,
I'm asking you.
Yes.
America could sustain 500 million.
If we fix our problems. Dad, China, you know how many people live in China? 1 billion. You know how big China is? Smaller than the U.S. in terms of land.
So then let them go to China.
Well, wait,
let the people move to China. Why do we have to?
That work.
No, why do we have to change
You're not
our
listening to me.
I am listening. But why do we have to change our way because we want another 200 people to come?
Change our way.
200 million people come in?
You want to keep the way it is right now? America sucks right now. You want to keep the way?
Bronson,
we're
not getting anywhere.
You even said 4 minutes ago, you said America, you were like, it's crumbling, it's chaos.
It is, but these are different issues.
But then
Bronson.
I just said it.
These are different issues. You're taking, there's so many facets and issues that are a problem with America. So now you just say, because I say you want to bring in and create further problems. We already have problems. We already have this. China does it. China's communism. So let's go to communism. Let's do it China's way. Let's bring 200 people more in to handle it with our infrastructure because America cannot handle it. America can't even handle. It's like this.
Exactly what I'm saying.
Listen.
You're repeating exactly what I'm saying.
Listen.
We can't even handle it now, so something's broken. That's what I said, and you go, what?
No.
America's broken.
Listen. So what? So
don't we want to fix
That's not a reason to not bring people in or bring people in.
No, but I never said that.
If America was in perfect
I never
situation,
said that.
if America was perfect, running perfect utopia, does that mean you still bring more people in?
Yeah.
Why?
Because they could better our society.
They can also worsen our society.
Of course. But should we kick Americans out that worsen our society?
Probably.
Okay. Yeah, I agree.
Probably.
So then we're in agreement. There should be a flow of getting rid of bad people and bringing in good people.
And there should be unicorns. I mean, Bronson, you're talking from a conclusion type of It's very, for someone like you.
You're simplifying my arguments.
Well,
because you're not listening to the details.
I am listening to you. I am. There are no details.
This is so simplifying my argument. I said China can handle it, and you said let's just go communist. That's not what I was saying at all. That means that's simplifying my argument. That's just straw manning it because you're not listening to what I'm saying. I never once said anything about China and communism being good here and implementing it. You said, can a country sustain 500 million people? And I said, yes. And then you said, let's be communist.
Why do we need to sustain 500 people?
We don't. We don't have to.
Own.
We don't have to sustain 500 million people. You're the one that threw that number out. And you asked me if we could. And I said, countries can in theory. But America right now is broken. Shouldn't we try to fix our broken problems? And you go, America's broken, what? But then 10 minutes ago, you yourself said America's broken.
I'm saying
so I'm just repeating it.
I'm saying we have our own problems. Why do we take on everyone else's problems?
I don't want to take on everyone else's problems.
Yeah, you do.
No. Some people can come and fix. But see, but you're immediately going pessimistic and I'm going optimistic.
No, I'm going reality.
No.
Let them come in legally. But
I agree.
You know, I want to say
this. I never once said
say this.
I don't want anyone coming into the country illegally.
I'd rather take our money and educate our younger generation, our youth.
I agree.
And take the inner city schools or the minorities that are having problems, make them better and stronger so they can better America than take some foreigner come over from another country that wants to come here illegally over the border.
No one wants to come here illegally.
Okay.
You said they want to come here illegally.
Oh my God, fucking kill me now. Someone that comes over here
I'm
illegally.
just trying to not simplify your arguments.
Someone that comes here illegally, I'd rather put the money and I'd rather put my hard work, dedication, money to someone that's already here, a U.S. citizen, and hopefully they'll become the one they'll make a good invention.
The U.S. citizens are the ones that are ruining America. The U.S. education system with American students are the ones that created wokeism, Black Lives Matter, Antifa, all that stuff that you hate. That's Americans learning from Americans. So maybe if we brought in some fresh blood that doesn't really... You think in Mexico they give a shit about transgender and LGBT?
No.
They have other problems to worry about. They don't care about that stuff.
How are you going to bring them in? How do you bring them in?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't have an answer.
It's a very... Okay, but I'm saying, but you... So...
I never claim to have an answer. I think it's a very complicated issue. That's why every year there's a crisis. Because there's no right answer.
You know how many people here are illegally here?
I don't know.
A huge amount.
How many?
I don't know. I don't know specifically, but a huge amount of illegal aliens here. And we have to educate them, treat them in our hospitals because they get the benefits of the United States, but they don't pay taxes and not here legally.
I'm super against that.
Yeah, me too.
Okay. I just think America and Americans are not doing great right now. Our American culture that's been exported to the world. In the 80s, it was like, in the 50s through the 80s, it was a great culture that we exported out to the world, right? Like American culture was great. Right now, we're exporting wokeism, we're exporting cancel culture, we're a joke, right? So it's like you keep saying, why don't we put more money into the American education system? That'll just make wokeism worse. That'll make things more canceled or more things canceled. I think it will.
All right. Well, I don't know.
Because you say the American education system is so bad, and then you say, let's put more money into it. No, why put more money into a failing factory?
Because to make
Destroy
it better.
the factory, build a new one.
No, but to make it better.
But the government is But Dad, you also admitted that the government is terrible at spending money in order to improve things.
The government's a joke.
So if the government is spending more money to make
if you brought people in, it's not going to change the government. It's not changing the government.
No, and it might make things worse. But what I'm saying is, which I always go back to, the way to fix American problems isn't for the American government to spend money on the problems that the American government created. It's to fucking get rid of it, start over, redo things, start from the ground up, build it better.
Okay, that's nice theoretical conclusory statements. That's all it is. That's nice, and no one will disagree with you.
All statements are conclusory.
No, but nobody will disagree. But it's not realistic.
So you can't even implement. So then have fun with the government spending money on the government education system. They've done a great job. They have a great track record.
Government is here. So the point is, like you said at the beginning, when Trump was there 4 years, they never spoke to Trump like that, the Chinese officials. So the problem is our fucking government. That's the problem.
Right, but it's been the problem for the last 40 years, our government. It's not just Trump or Biden. Our education system was god-awful under Trump.
I agree.
And all the kids in this country were not even going into school under Trump.
And now with COVID, they're not even going any further. It's a problem.
Well, that's what I was saying with COVID. They are going back. Most kids are back in school now. Okay.
I don't know what the answer is.
There isn't.
I don't know what the
fucking
answer
isn't an answer.
Is. I'm not saying you're wrong or you're right. I'm just saying.
And I'm not saying you're wrong or right.
Listen, I totally, listen, I always believe in helping those who need help. I believe it's a process to go into to get things done. What that is, I don't know. I think people should come here legally. I think taking 7 years is a fucking joke. I agree with that.
Some people, it's like 15 years.
Listen, but I don't know but I do know that if we brought in a mass exodus of people coming in.
I never said mass exodus. I agree with you.
It will be catastrophic.
100%.
Okay. And that's a concern. The more people you have,
even if they were all amazing people, it's just too much of a strain on the culture, on the society. I agree.
And then when you have more have-nots than haves, that creates a problem.
We do have way more have-nots than haves.
Imagine even adding more to that.
Yes, okay? It would do that.
Safety issues, resource issues, living issues. It's just so many different things.
Right, but you see how you're like, we were watching 90 Day Fiance before this, and the guy was like being insincere, and I said, this guy's definitely an actor. He's definitely a dick.
You called it.
No, but then you go, geez, you're so pessimistic. That's what you said to me on the couch.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're sitting here, and you are constantly, it would be this bad. It would be this problem. It would be this. And I say, you're pessimistic. And you go, I'm just being realistic.
Right.
There's a bit of hypocrisy in there, you have to admit.
I don't have to admit anything. Okay. But
I'll say I feel like there's hypocrisy in there.
You could feel that way, and I respect how you feel. I don't think that I'm being pessimist by any means. Just hear me out.
I've asked you 3 times, name 4 good things that bringing immigrants would do to this country, and you haven't answered them since.
New blood.
Okay.
New ideas.
Okay.
It could harm
different cultures. I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, we have plenty of different cultures.
The fact that you said, I love Chinese food. If we didn't have immigrants, we don't have Chinese food, Dad.
Listen, I love different cultures, but I think that at this stage, it would be more harm than good. That's my feeling. Only because of what's going on.
If we brought in a mass exodus, yes,
because our government is incompetent, we can't handle it.
Agreed.
We don't have the resources, I think, and the manpower, and implementing it. In theory, and in a beautiful world, I would love everybody to be productive and come into our country because I'm no better than you, you know better than me, and put up or shut up. I'm all in favor of that. But I am concerned that we have such problems now that I think we need to, unfortunately, we're not doing this because it's not sexy and it sells, but I think we need to focus internally and fix that problem first. Like the analogy of the mask coming out of the airplane. That's all I'm saying.
I totally agree. We need to fix the problems here first. And people are trying to do that. I believe they're trying to do it wrong. What do you think Black Lives Matter is if not trying to fix the problems here?
I agree. I think they're doing it wrong.
Right.
I think all these problems because
and I also think like the people like QAnon and the people who are rushing the Capitol were also trying to fix a problem that they believe in this country, and they were doing it wrong.
Because Bronson, because you deal with fucking morons, okay, that don't know really what they're doing. And with social media and the news, it's such bullshit. These are all problems. And again, people are fucking idiots. I agree that going back to 100% Black Lives Matter. Of course they do. No one should be treated differently. Anyone that thinks someone should be treated differently is a moron. Like if you had a one-on-one conversation, why should you be treated better than somebody else? I'm not talking about have more because if you work harder and this,
right? No,
that's
I know
a different story.
I know what you mean, and I agree with you.
I should not treat you less because of how you're born. I might treat you.
I can treat you less because you're a shitty ass person,
or you're an asshole.
Right.
You're a criminal. You don't have good ethics. You're a
or
habitual
I can
liar.
treat you more because you're a really respectable and honorable person.
100%.
Yes,
correct.
I agree with you.
That's the way I think. But there's so many internal problems, and in an hour or an hour and a half podcast, I don't even know how to solve these problems. Even if time was not an issue for this podcast, I don't know how to fix these problems.
There aren't answers. That's why it still happens.
So much red tape and bureaucracy and these governmental bullshit things for a 4-year term, and you put someone like Biden for 47 years who did nothing. You think fucking Biden could handle if 47 years in office? Who just rode the coattails and slid in by being voted and this and that, and not laying on hiding under the radar. You think now as president he's going to solve these major problems? But I wouldn't want to be president. Would you want to be president?
No,
there's
never.
There might be
because there also aren't answers to these crises.
There's no solution. But listen, I don't want to end on a bad note.
No, we're not. I mean,
this is a heavy topic.
Yeah, I mean, we did keep saying America's broken, America's broken.
And I'm fucking aggravated.
But we're at an hour and a half. Do you have a joke to tell? Do you want to tell a joke to lighten the mood?
So this guy wakes up one morning.
Oh, this is so
and he has this growth in the middle of his forehead. Doesn't know what it is, so he goes to the dermatologist. Doctor says, "Let me take a biopsy." Come back the next day. Comes back the next day. Goes, "Well, doc, what is it?" He goes, "Well, I got to tell you, it's a rare case. You have a dick growing in the middle of your forehead." He goes, "What?" He goes, "Yeah, you have a penis growing in the middle of your forehead." He goes, "Well, can you cut it off?" He goes, "Well, there's only been 3 other cases we know about in the world, and each time we cut it off, it's grown in reverse into the skull, and the person's died." He goes, "You mean to tell me, doc, every morning when I go to brush my teeth or shave, I have this big penis in the middle of my forehead?" He goes, "No, don't worry, the balls will cover your eyes." But I'm pumped. Shh. You like that?
I'm going to do them all. I'm going to do them all.
You double teaming me. Nice.
I'm not double teaming you.
Okay. Oh, my God. All right.
I have a funny quick anecdote. Burke, this weekend, we were hungry, like before we were going out one night, and Burke was sitting, and he was like, "What can I get for food?" And Bryce goes, "There's a Jimmy John's right across the road, or right down the road. They deliver really quick. Do you want, we only have 10 minutes, but do you want to quickly stop there?" And Burke goes, "Oh, I would love a 6-inch inside of me." And we both look at him and we're like, "Oh, what the fuck are you saying?" And he was like, "Oh shit, oh my God, oh no."
Oh, that's pretty cringy. Yeah. Let's not end on that note.
That's like the best "that's what she said" ever. I would love a 6-inch inside of me. All right. That's it.
Love you, Brian.
Love you too.
All right. It got a little heated. Did we miss a lot of topics?
No, because there were a few articles that, I didn't get to some other articles.
What were some of my topics that were my topics?
The $86 million.
Okay, thank you.
And then also the minority, the senator who said she'll only hire minority.
We got to talk about that next time. Yeah, that's pretty fucked up.
I don't know what
it's a Hawaiian senator.
Yeah, who said that she'll only
she will not vote any laws that are not.
No, that's not it. I don't know the exact details, but we'll talk about it next time. Because I just don't want you to say something completely incorrect.
Which apparently to you I say often.
No, but you know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
I want us to just save it.
All right, love you.
Love you too.
Later. Peace out, everybody. You're joking, right?
Well, I'm trying to be hopeful. I'm trying to be optimistic about that.
Well, I guess you're too young to be a little pessimistic like me. The fucking things I see out there, people are stupid.